to the program. Now, some of the largest yet occupied protests have erupted across America, paralyzing its west coast. From the block port of Oakland to the shipping hub of Seattle, thousands upon thousands of disenchanted Occupy movement activists have taken to the streets in defiance of a police crackdown. Well, for more on this as it unfolds, let's cross to our correspondent Ganesh Chikan live from Washington, D.C. Hello to you, Ganesh. So, a real show of force we're seeing from the Occupy movement there, aren't we?
Marina, exactly. Seattle police used flashbang percussion grenades to disperse protesters who blocked an entrance to a Port of Seattle facility. Police said multiple people have been arrested. They did not specify how many, though. You could see Occupy Seattle protesters standing there at the port with banners which read "Made in China," clearly indicating a problem which they often highlight in their statements, the protesters, and that is American jobs outsourced to China. The protesters were those protests were part of a national effort to block West Coast port traffic. Thousands took on ports from California to Alaska to disrupt what they described as an economic machine that benefits the wealthiest individuals and corporations. And that's been the occupiers' message from the very beginning. They've marched on ports in San Diego, Los Angeles, Oakland, Portland, Seattle, Tacoma, Anchorage in Alaska. The protesters have indeed managed to disrupt the work of those major ports on the West Coast. In Oakland, the port there was almost entirely shut down. Same in Portland. In LA, they effectively blocked trucks from approaching the port. By doing that, the occupiers hope to keep the message of the movement alive, as they say. They say they're targeting corporate greed and government complicity. Now, a bit about why ports. The protesters say they want to cut into the profits of Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs owns half of one of the world's largest transportation and shipping outfits. So for the occupiers, it's a way to make a point, to get back at this huge bank, which has very much contributed to the financial crisis. In New York, occupiers have marched in solidarity with their fellow protesters on the West Coast. They took their message to Goldman Sachs directly, marching around the bank's lower Manhattan headquarters. Almost 24 people got arrested during, what looked like a peaceful demonstration there. In Houston, same solidarity demonstrations, 20 people arrested. So far, authorities have been quite successful in cracking down on those peaceful protesters across the United States, dismantling their camps, evicting demonstrators. Around 5,000, more than 5,000 peaceful protesters have been arrested in the last 3 months. Those arrests don't even make it to the headlines anymore. That's what it seems like. It seems to have become business as usual. Dozens of demonstrators get arrested every week. Over the weekend, 70 people were arrested in San Francisco. Now, as occupiers are being forced out of their occupied locations in parks and plazas all across America, members of the movement want to make sure that their message doesn't vanish together with those tents there.
Right. Well, indeed, we've seen some dramatic footage while you were explaining to us what's happening there in the West Coast. Ganesh Chikan, thanks very much indeed for bringing us this update.